fight in this ghastly thing, this ghastly war. So, so he continues his conversation, but at this point he surrenders, you know, because uh, in the previous verse, Karpana dosho pahata swabhava, Prishrami Twam Dharma Samudas Chetaha. That's when Arjun says, yeah, okay, I'm confused about what I'm supposed to do, and I surrender to you. Will you please guide me? And then the following verse, which we'll talk about today, he's saying that I find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. Or you could say, in other words, his existence, drying up his existence. And he said, I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous kingdom, unrivaled kingdom on the earth, with the sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So Arjun was putting all sorts of arguments to Krishna as to why he should not engage in this fight. But it's quite logical, because it's quite, when you look at the situation that he was faced with, it's quite heart-wrenching if you think about it. He had to, under instructions by Krishna, he's supposed to kill his family and friends and teachers. I mean, who do that? No one does that. But here, Krishna is saying you must do it. And then he lamented, and he refused, and then finally he relented. He said, all right, I'll do it. Okay, so the text today is going to be on discussion. It's going to be on spiritual transcendental knowledge versus material knowledge. I think that's a reasonable, okay topic, don't you think? Given the situation Arjun faced and the situation we find ourselves in today, with so much issues. So the Arjun situation here serves as a prime example of what, because to be honest, we all have to make decisions from day to day. Some of them small, some large. They may not be as difficult as the one Arjun had to face there, but nevertheless, in our capacity, in our day-to-day life, we have to do certain things, and then reap the reward, or the suffering or happiness, bitter or sweet, based on our decisions. But here, the key theme here is, right, where does the spiritual master come? Where does he come into this? How does he fit into this picture? And you can see that in spiritual life, we go with spiritual master, his instructions and his guidance. In material life, we go by materialistic education and guidance, and politicians. And unfortunately, they are not that elevated these days, politicians. They are compared to Sudras. This is, because there are no Brahmanas, right? There are no Brahmanas here. So crucial life decisions are being made by people who have no Brahmanical culture or education. And that's the problem we face. But Arjuna was a fortunate one, because he had Krishna with him to make decisions for him. Okay, you have to fly your own plane, they say. Eventually, you have to do it for yourself. But he had, so he's more fortunate than we are, in a sense, because Krishna was right there on the battlefield and was able to instruct him. And he knew the capability of Krishna anyway. But the situation was so grave that he lamented and he rejected the instructions to fight initially. Then one moment he said no, and then next moment he said yes. So in between that no and yes, what happened there is the persuasion of the spiritual master, transcendental wisdom imparted, and he could see because obviously Krishna would give him vision to see the truth. Okay, in the same way, we don't always have the Paramatma is with us in the heart, guiding and directing, and and sometimes we listen. We may listen sometimes. Most times we don't listen. Um, what's going on inside? Internal dialogue is taking place. But rest assured that the spiritual master is always with us. Not spiritual master in the form of Paramatma, the super soul, accompanying the individual soul. So we can always learn to fine tune this, our meditation, and see what's going on inside, and to pay attention, and because the journey is within. So even though we don't have Krishna present with us, God, Vishnu present with us, we have the Paramatma, which is an aspect of himself. So we have you have Bhagavan, which is the personality himself. Then you have Paramatma, localized aspect of the supreme person, and then you have what to call it, Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman. Yes, which is the effulgence of the Lord. So the localized aspect, which is Paramatma, is always with us, and it's in the heart of every living entity, apparently. So we shouldn't consider ourselves to be alone ever, because he accompanies everyone, even to hell. To hell. I mean, so he's so he's in every living entity, not just human beings. So he's a dear friend. He's a dear friend. So and if we choose not to listen to the Paramatma, occasionally Krishna might be merciful and send us, according to what we deserve, send someone along the way to instruct us, or to guide us, or to give us a word of encouragement. But he's always acting on our behalf because he's a dear friend. So when we're not present within, when we're not listening, and we do practice, Krishna is merciful, as I said. He can come in the form of a spiritual master, an external form of himself, to guide us. So in this world we live in, there's no possibility of gaining perfection. We can go so far. It is said that through the science of spirituality, it's a science actually, and it can be measured. So on your own strength, on your own, you could go up to 60% spiritual level. When you go to 70, you're more like becoming a saint. And then when you go beyond that, it's like, a sadhu. So by our own strength, we can go up to 60%, which is not real liberation. You're just on the borderline, but you cannot take it much further. So we need the expert guidance of a spiritual master to help us. So Arjun is fortunate. We are also fortunate as well. But when we start to practice bhakti and devotion, devotional service, and we reach a certain point, then the guru will manifest. The guru will come. That's how it works. It's an internal thing, and you attract the guru. It is said that like human beings with their desires, spiritual desires, they're like flames scattered all over the planet. You see a flame in a dark place, right? It's quite visible. So that's how the spiritual master sees. He sees flames, souls, desires for us to make spiritual progress, and then they come like that. And by doing so, we are on course to fulfill our destiny, or live to perfection, live out the purpose of the human form of life, which is cultivation of spiritual knowledge or self-realization. It's very, very important, because it's everywhere over the script. It's all over the scriptures that one must utilize this form for spiritual realization, or else it is considered wasted form. Especially the human form of life is so important. Why? Because through this, it's a very nice vehicle, but it's not meant for enjoy external material things. That's not what it's meant for, actually. It's meant for internal journey, to connect with the Supreme, to connect with the higher self for self-realization, and then ultimately, you could get liberation. And beyond that, you could have eternal union with Krishna and in the spiritual sky. So all these things are possible. So now, so and the Guru, the instructions of the Guru, Srila Prabhupada, then we're here because of his kindness. We're here. So again, you see the spiritual masters playing an important part in our lives in many ways. And even though they may not be here, we have the instructions to follow. And if we take it to heart, the instructions, if we take them to heart, then we can make serious progress. But we need someone along the way to guide us, because it is very, very difficult. Spiritual realization, to cultivate is very difficult on your own. In a community like this, there's a lot of self-help. And also you have the community, you have association, you have so many. So this center is very meaningful for people who is trying to cultivate the spiritual knowledge, because the help is here. When you're at home, it's not impossible, but it gets more and more difficult as Kali Yuga progresses. Kali Yuga progresses. Now, we're at a very difficult time in Kali Yuga, and I don't need to convince you about this. You just need to take a look around, and you see that there's trouble simmering everywhere. You know, trouble on this side, trouble on that side. And it's not just externally, it's not just a global thing, it's also an internal thing. So we're also going through stuff as well. So it is, the saints have spoken of a time which are very, very severe for humanity. And they say that time is very close. So we must pay attention about, as what does this mean? But we can see the signs, how they're coming, how they're happening, and we can see that something unpleasant could happen, because we're living kind of recklessly, being disconnected from the love of God, and being lack of this, union with everything that's meaningful, such as our connection with nature, and not cultivating the right knowledge to live by, the science of living. We go by our own materialistic ideals and education, and so therefore we get into problems. So the solution is more likely a spiritual one, because they can't find it. They can't, because you can see it, there's no solution. But lucky Arjun, lucky for him, he had Krishna to guide him. And we have our spiritual masters who can help us in difficult times. So as we go through this passage of Kali Yuga, then we understand that it's a collective destiny we're going through, we understand. The world itself is going through this destiny, we're going through this collective destiny. So we're born at a time such as this, so we can make progress together. Everyone is in this. And we have stuff coming up out of us that we need to deal with, And sometimes I speak with people and they say, oh, it's so difficult, it's so hard. And it's getting even more complicated, having to deal with all the issues, not just personal things, but things around you and things happening to people, but globally what's happening. So now, I think more than ever, we need that expert guidance. So this serves as a good example for us. But again, the Bhagavad Gita is transcendental knowledge. So it was true then, and it's true now, and it will be true for eternity. Because it's manual for life, but not just this life, but for all lifetimes. So this discussion between Arjuna and Krishna, let's come back to it. So it just shows you just how incredibly knowledgeable Krishna is. And by the way, this Gita, it was spoken on the battlefield. Some estimate it to be maybe half an hour or something. something like this, so rich, so deep, so meaningful, and it is it's transcendental knowledge that lasts forever. But this was spoken at a time and the battlefield when who would do that, you know? But again, Krishna is just showing how his supreme qualities, one of his opulences, that he is full of knowledge, and not only that, he spoke it and he was smiling. He was so all right, Arjun, you're miserable and you've lost your composure, but I'm building you up with knowledge and my persona, my presence. And what happened? He went ahead and he destroyed the opponents, and it was probably the mother of all wars, because there were so many people assembled there from all over the world, chief kings and their servants and all that. But yeah, it's to eradicate the demoniac elements from off the face of the earth. That was then. I mean, we still have them now. They may not be as huge as they used to be, but there are many people. I mean, I don't want to say people are demons, but it's just the demon is a principle. It's a system. It's a thing. It's not necessarily people. People are just being used by that, by entities and by ideologies which are demoniac. Shri Shri Radha Gokul Nanda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai, Gornitai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, yes. So it's not that it was much easier there than now. It's just that the times are different, and we still have same issues we have to face with, because as long as we're here in this material world, we always be struggling for for existence. It's a constant battle for existence, and it doesn't really matter if you're born in an opulent family or what background you're from. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is understand that it's all temporary, and then you being spirit soul, then you know that the answer is not in a material sense, material existence. You won't find the answer. So the answer has to come from somewhere else, and then, but we can equip ourselves. We can equip ourselves to in this lifetime to gain perfection. That perfection. What's that perfection? Is to understand that I'm not the body. We go back. We come to this is discussed time and time again, and it's mentioned almost probably in every class. we come back to this, but this is the fundamental. This is the basis of our philosophy, and we understand that this knowledge is infallible. So we're saying that we're not the body, we're not these bodies. So then what are we? And from there, other knowledge will come if we understand this basic principle. Whether you use this knowledge to go off into the Himalayas and meditate for 100 years or however long you choose to be there for, or you use this knowledge in Bhakti Yoga and you spread love around, you spread this knowledge, you help others as well, not just selfishly work to secure your own liberation, but you also help others. Like Prahlad Maharaj, the little boy up there, Prahlad Maharaj, was liberated from birth, right? But he knew this principle, that spiritual life is not for oneself, it's for helping others. And I suppose you can also see this in people who are philanthropists, okay? It might not be a spiritual thing, but people want to give to others, help others. Why? Because in sharing, you're bringing others closer to Krishna. I'm talking in a spiritual sense. In material sense, you want to ease others their discomfort and their suffering. That's very noble. But it only goes so far, because it won't give them the ultimate goal of life. or show them the aim of life, or help them to understand the aim of life, which is the whole point of spiritual knowledge, is so that we can understand the aim of life, and by doing that, we can get out. Get out of what? Misery, material entanglement, and obviously, and to finish with the rebirth thing, in the cycle of birth and death. Why would we want to do that again? I mean, so apparently we need a little bit of a help to do this. So again, we come back to the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge. Everything is here in the book, the Gita. I mean, this is sufficient for liberation. But then, if it's not enough, you have the supplementary. You have, the postgraduate, not the postgraduate. You have the Gita, you have the Srimad Bhagavatam, and you have the CC, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I don't really touch because it's so elevated. I don't go there. I just listen. But I like to relish the Srimad Bhagavatam because it's transcendental knowledge and I can connect with it. And it's really, really deep. And it glorifies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then I feel somehow purified through that. And not only that, it's great hope. Not false hope, but hope that you can anchor into something that is substantial, and that is eternal. And this is the investment that we can try to make. Make an investment that is eternal. So this is a jewel and the gem of the Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and obviously, it's through the mercy and the love of the Guru, Sadhu Guru Sastra. Sadhu Guru Sastra. So you need the Guru who explain the Sastra, and then what happens? The love of God can develop within the heart because it is directly imparted through this medium. So we are without excuse, and especially now. And I would say there is. I'm speaking to myself as well because there was I think there's never. I mean, I don't want to speculate, but now is a very good time. I was going to say there was never a time when it is better than now to make spiritual advancement, because I don't know the history of the world, but I do know that now everything is given to us right now, and so we can make the aim of life, we can attain the goal, and we can achieve that perfection. So this is what we're here to do. We're here to share, discuss, grow together, connect with God, find the love of God within the heart, through meditation, through chanting, through reading, association, listening. There are many ways. So it's nice. It's nice to it's a nice process. And whatever tradition tradition you belong to, then you can always take from this, because it's all inclusive. Everything is in there, and that's one of the things that attracted me to this path, Bhakti Yoga, was that it covers everything, just about everything, and the overlap is there. Whatever tradition you belong to, you can find something in it that will. That can be your anchor in your own faith and help you to develop. So, so we're looking for maybe, and if we're going to have one religion, just as well as this, or one mantra, just as well we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, because it's been going on here for 50 years, and guess what? Everyone comes here and they feel all right. Everyone feels when they walk through that door. They understand that this place, they feel at ease, at home. No tension, no pushing, no nothing. Just it's friendly. It's friendly. And that's what we want. We want something that friendly, people can connect. And obviously with, and ahimsa, we practice that nicely here. So we're friends of all living entities, and we try to live in harmony with planet Earth, and help others to cultivate spiritual knowledge and to reach the goal of life. And now what else do we do here? We some people come. It's not necessarily that they will take the knowledge or hear from us, but we provide an environment where they can feel safe and peaceful, and they might even walk the grounds and they feel a connection somehow, wherever they are. Some come because they're interested in yoga. That's okay as well. It's a starting point, you know. And some come because there's so many festivals. Some comes because of feasting, all sorts of things that pulls people pull people into the manor to come to attend. I mean to visit the manor. But one thing though, we shouldn't lose sight of the goal. And the goal is, in this one lifetime, we can do something really, because God knows how long we've been on this path, doing this, birth after birth after birth after birth. But now we can have it, we can wrap that up, and bring a conclusion to that, and go on with to perfection. So yeah. And as I discuss, and we say about 10 minutes before closing, you can, if you, because I love question answer sessions, so we can have a discussion. I don't want to leave it too late because you might have some questions there for me, and I'd love to hear from you. So you can just bear that in mind, because I don't want to be always talking, because I don't have any realizations to share that much. I'll run out. so I'd like to hear from you and it can make it a stimulating discussion. So anyone here for the first time? First time for you? Oh, at this time of the day? Oh, morning class. Oh, every Sunday. Yeah. All right, great. Well, nice. Yeah. So this is you do come, because what else is there to do? What else is there to do? I mean, you have your busy lives, of course, and but when we come and we engage in discussions and we share, Bhagavad Gita class goes on every day. It's going on every day at this time. Different speakers, and some of them far more qualified than I am, I think. But we get a chance to say something on this great transcendental literature, and it helps us on our journey as well. So Arjuna was fortunate; he had Krishna with him. But we are also fortunate because we have the words of Krishna with us, and it's no different. So the form of the Lord, His forms, His sound vibration, which is His words, sound vibration. So and His activities, paraphernalia, they're all the same apparently. So if we connect with that consciousness that Krishna is in His words, then again, He is with us. It's all to do with consciousness. In the same way, we connect with the deities. When I first came and I saw the deities, because I like to feel, I like to experience through feeling. So when I came, I was introduced. I thought, wow, they're smiling. Of course they're smiling, but it was more than that. It was something else there. I think maybe Krishna was welcoming me. Say, okay, come closer. But that was, and then I realized over time you develop a kind of it's a reciprocation. There's a reciprocation between you and the form of the Lord, and then over time you become conscious of it. Then you go deeper in your meditation as you stand there and you look. So it varies for different people, different from person to person. It varies. So in the same way, whatever we touch, whatever we eat, whatever we see, the holy Dharma, if we bring consciousness to it and understand that this is none different than Krishna, then it is so. Yeah, that's it. In the same way in meditation, one can meditate on the Lord in the heart, in the mind, and it is so, because you know what? Meditation can take you a far, far way. It can help you to connect, to start with. And remember, the journey is within. It's not an external thing. So, so the memories of the Lord, seeing the forms of the Lord, His activities within the heart. All these things can awaken within us the love of God because He resides in the heart already, as I was mentioning, as Paramatma. And then Krishna is dear to everyone. So again, I repeat, we are never alone. And even in the darkest moments, it's easy to forget that, okay, I have to face things. No, on my own and difficulties. And no, never. But we're here to learn lessons, and some tough lessons. Arjun suffered greatly, suffered so much. And then it is said that, I think it's Yudhishthira who said that the Pandavas, Arjun was part of the Pandavas family, he said they suffered so much injustice that it's very difficult to understand it. How is it they could suffer so much? And again, you can see Arjun here. Krishna put him into a very difficult situation again, where he's lamenting and he was weeping, literally, because it's a very difficult thing to do. But we can go through a situation so that lessons can be taught. And what's the lesson? What's the lesson from his bewilderment or discomfort or suffering, Arjun? He was banished to the forest for how many years, based on an injustice, and so many things happened to him. They tried to kill him and poison him from earlier on. Not the Pandavas, the Kauravas, yes, they were motivated to kill the Pandavas because they were very pious. So, but he went through a lot of tribulation just by being pious and being a friend of Krishna. But it's for a reason. So, even in our lives, if we find ourselves that the spiritual path is not easy, can be very troublesome, but there are lessons in it for us as we face difficulties. But the thing is, Krishna never leaves us alone. That's a fact. And then He will always look at those faithful devotees who stay the course and who overcome tribulations, and they are advanced. Krishna glorifies them for eternity. They become famous. All these devotees are famous, and because it's very dear to him, because he doesn't really want the fame for himself, because he's not really that much interested, because he has everything. He's full in himself, complete. Atmaram. I think the word is Atmaram. But he's fully complete in himself. And then he doesn't even take help from anyone, because he has all 6 opulences. And, and if you don't know what they are, then I could try and mention them. But he has 6. They're worth pointing out. Strength. Govardhan Hill. Remember that pastime? One finger, yeah. 7 days. Wealth. He's a proprietor of everything. Remember this pastime? Krishna displayed his opulences to confirm his status as the Supreme Lord, and no one can imitate. Right? No one can imitate. 16,108 wives, and all of them with palaces. With incredible gems and bedecked with these fabulous stones and things, all very, very wealthy. And so the wealth is there, fame is there. He's the most famous, apparently, because it's not just in this small little earth that we're on in this small universe, but throughout all the universes. I'm not saying Krishna is known everywhere on this earth, but Krishna is known in other worlds, other universes, because they're his. Okay, Prabhupada came and the acharyas that came to propagate Krishna consciousness. So people can know about Krishna, and people are becoming now a bit conscious of the reality of the Supreme Lord through. But people must hear first, and someone has to tell them. Someone has to preach, go out and preach. So Prabhupada was sent by a spiritual master to go and preach. Or else, how would we know? And he came through hardship, difficult situations. I won't go into it now, but I don't know if you ever read the pastimes of Prabhupada, come across his pastimes, you'll see it was very difficult for him. So all the devotees of Lord, they can go through extreme difficulties. But eventually the Lord will deliver them and glorify them. That is the end. It's not so much the beginning, this how it starts, it's always the end. And Krishna takes pleasure in that, glorifying his devotees. So he wants them to be famous. Not that they desire fame, but he gives that to them. He will make them famous. And then, obviously Krishna is a master of renunciation and other things, and beauty. The Supreme Lord Vishnu is incredibly attractive. And then Krishna in his form is superlative, so attractive, the most attractive living entity. So he is not in need of anything, and when we come, we we give something to Krishna. We're kind of helping ourselves, because trying to learn how to love. Yeah. So this tradition is nice. We like the Vedic culture. We say turn the entire planet into give the planet Vedic culture, and then I think it's a better way of living. And then so Prabhupada built a home in which all of us can live, the whole entire world, and this is true religion. Yeah, and you look around, you'll see that is happening. So Lord Chaitanya, his desire predicted that it will be preached in every town and every village of the world. The love of God will be propagated throughout all the earth, this planet. So Prabhupada made a very good, made an impression. Actually, the impression, but his mission was successful. He accomplished what he was sent to do. And so now we can take part in this great transcendental life, life eternal. So you all been patiently listening, and so you can say if you have a question or two, I'll try to answer. Any point in the discussion that you think a little bit doubtful for you? You may doubt, or you may want to correct me on some point. And Prabhu has got a question, but we haven't got the mic. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you
Hare
for giving the
Krishna.
class. So you mentioned about we can go to the temple and see the deity in the temple, but Lord Krishna in the temple. But how can we see him? How to say, outside the temple also? Maybe very obvious we see Krishna face to face here, but how can we see Krishna in everyday life?
Yeah. Okay. Nice question. Krishna says, always think of me, never forget me, and become my devotee. And so always think of Krishna within the heart. And there are many, because his pastimes are great pastimes, and so great that we hear them and we become absorbed, and it's not likely to forget. You can forget the details, it's in part, but by large, they make such an impression upon the mind and the heart. Um, because this is the whole purpose of it, is that when we hear about Krishna, we shouldn't forget Krishna, because his pastimes are so huge. So we can remember him by thinking about his pastimes, by also thinking that, okay, I am part and parcel of the Lord. We're not separate. It's not like we sparks of the Supreme, parts and parcels of the Supreme, every living entity. So if we think that way, then we always feel connected to this source. But we have an independent spirit, independent mind. We always think that, okay, I can, I have my duties to do, and I have my own problems to fix, and I have to do it myself. So the doership is ours. So we think about being the doer like this. In a sense, we're taking away but this is this part Krishna plays well, because Krishna exists in everything, and everything rests in him. So he is able to do anything at any time, because he's fully independent. You see? So if we take shelter this way, remember that we're parts and parcels of him, and remember his activities, and that and also our progress is we're trying to learn how to love God. So we can love God by developing this emotion, spiritual emotion from within, by thinking about him. And at your homes, so many, in Indian traditions, you have so many temples at home, so many homes with temples in them. Always remember being reminded of Krishna, or Vishnu, whichever form you have, or whatever deities you have. Obviously you have the energetics of the Lord, you have the expansions of the Lord, and the various energies working through various agencies, and all these are worshipable, to a certain degree. But obviously, we say top worship is reserved for Vishnu. So yeah, there's so many ways you can remember the Lord. But doership is important to remember, that doership is not ours, because it's difficult when you have to do everything. If we just have faith and trust, because he's able to do it, because he's supreme. And because we're not supreme at the moment, we probably will never be. but so we can trust in that way. Trust that he's there with us, and he's the doer. In everything, he's the doer. And if we think in this meditation and pay gratitude to him for doership, then yeah. Because we're always acting. We're doing something. Every moment we're doing something. We're thinking, or we're acting, we're doing some activity. If we put the Lord in front and say, all right, doership is the Lord, and we surrender that duty or the activity unto him, then we'll always remember him. Yeah. I hope that's all right, Prabhu. It's a long answer to a small, so long answer. All right, so we have a couple more minutes to go. Or we can end it here, because it'll go in a minute now. Highball. Yes. So it's nice to see you, and thank you for your patience and for, your patience and cooperation. And all right, see you soon. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Ki Jai. Sita Ramlat Mahanuman Ki Jai. Prabhupada Ki Jai. Go Premanande. Haribol.
Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Shri Shri Gauranitai ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Shiva Jayo Jayo Gaurachande Arati ko Shobha Shiva Jayo Jayo Gaurachande Arati ko Shobha Jana vitata vane jagavana loka Jana vitata vane jagavana loka Dakineni taichan Bhamegadatara Dakineni taichan Bhamegadatara Nikate Advaita Shrini Vatsa Chatradhara Tosi Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simkasane Bosi Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simkasane Harati Korena Brahma Adi Devagane Narari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Narari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Kasharigaya Sanka Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Karatala. Madhura Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala. Shankha Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje. 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 Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadana Ujvala. Bahu Koti Chandrajini Vadana Ujvala. Gala Deshe Banamala Kare Jalamala. Shiva Shukana Radha Preme Gada Gada. Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada. Akati Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada. Hiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanade Arati Koshobha. Hiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanade Gaurange Arati Shobha Jaga Janamana Loka Gaurange Arati Shobha Jaga Janamana Loka Gaurange Arati Shobha Jaga Janamana Loka Jaga Janamana Loka Jaga Janamana Loka Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyachari Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
So if you have space, you can sit down and we do pranam. So I will say, for example, Vrindavan Dham, then you say Jai. So Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivagacharya Astasata Srimad Bhaktivedanta Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mayapur Dham ki Jagannathpuri Dham ki Ayodhya Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Tulasi Deva ki Bhakti Deva ki Samabeta Bhaktivinoda ki Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi, Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we'll be singing the Nishinga prayer now. You all may take a seat. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada lada daine. Hiranyakashi purvaksha. Shila tankana kalaye. Ito nashimha parato nashimha. Ito nashimha parato nashimha. Yato yato yamitato nashimha. Yato yato yamitato nashimha. Bahe nashimha hridaye nashimha. Narashinhamadim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamalavare nakamadbhuta shingam. Dalita hiranyakashipur tanabringam. Keshavadita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Nashingadev, Jaya Nashingadev, Jaya Nashingadev, Jaya Nashingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Shingare Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nittai Gaur Pramanande. Hare Krishna. So Prasadam, Mahaprasadam is being served in the reception. Thank you all so much for attending the Aarti. The next Aarti will be at 9 p.m. Hare Krishna.
It's hard to play on this pedal. Yeah. Hurt your hands. It is good practice. Yeah. That was
Today I was meant to be studying and I did not study.
See you soon, yeah?